Big Eyes Production.
Did you ever wanted to be a beauty queen?
No, actually, not at. I had no aspirations even to win when I joined initially. I didn't have self-confidence. I wasn't happy with myself. And, I went to therapy and I did everything I could that was healthy.
What kind of therapy?
I spoke to a therapist about just my insecurity and my anxiety issues.
Okay.
I spent a good 4 to 6 months working on myself, physically, mentally, everything. I've been a waitress, I've been a bartender, I've been a nurse,
Wow.
I've been a cleaner, I've done every job you can imagine.
Can you imagine waitress and then cleaner and then
Nurse.
beauty queen?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Beauty queen, diba?
And look where you are today.
Yeah. If there's anything holding you back, it's more likely yourself, because the second you stop caring about people's opinions or someone laughing at you or making fun of you, whether you're a singer or you have a podcast or you're a rapper or whatever it is you want to do, the second you let that go, your life will change.
Itinaguyod
Itinaguyod
ko ang bandera
ko ang bandera
ng Pilipinas.
ng Pilipinas.
Ayan.
Galing!
Podcast na naman with Gerald at Brian. Aral lang pulutan sa inuman at kwentuhan. Pinagsamang veterano, parehong talentado.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Life Over Whiskey podcast, where we share valuable life lessons and stories you can learn from over a glass of whiskey. My name is Brian.
And I'm Gerald.
Direct J.
Yo!
So nice to see you again. And
Alright.
we're on another season. And I'm so excited because we have a very special guest on this episode. It's none other than Miss Environment International 2023, Miss Shannon Robinson.
Thank you. Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
Shannon.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Direct. Do you want anything you want to ask, Shannon?
Why are you so beautiful?
Wow, my goodness.
First thing
What a way
we
to
want to
start
know.
the podcast, right?
And before anything else, let's do a toast.
toast.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So again, we want to thank you, Shannon, for being part of the podcast. And by the way, guys, this podcast is all about sharing her story, and her journey. So before when you were growing up, did you ever wanted to be a beauty queen?
No, actually, not at. I had no aspirations even to win when I joined initially. It was more of a kind of turning point in my life. I was 27, 28 actually already. I didn't have self-confidence. I wasn't happy with myself. And, I went to therapy and I did everything I could that was healthy.
What kind of therapy?
I spoke to a therapist
Oh,
about
okay.
just my insecurity and my anxiety issues.
Okay.
I spent a good 4 to 6 months working on myself, physically, mentally, everything. And then I thought, what is the worst, most uncomfortable thing I could do? And that would be to be on stage in a bikini, because I couldn't even go swimming with my friends. I was that insecure. So I applied for Mutya ng Pilipinas the day of the deadline just to go to the screening and face my fear. And yeah, it kind of escalated from there.
Can you also inform us or the viewers, when was this?
This was just last December. So
Oh.
very, very recent, to be honest.
So you joined Mutya by last December.
I have a question for you. I'm just curious. So, did you grew up here in the Philippines or you're like half Filipina and
Half
half
Filipino, half Irish. Yeah.
Irish, right? So you grew up here.
I was born here.
Okay.
I left when I was a baby, moved to Japan till I was 5, came back
Okay.
to the Philippines until I was maybe just 9 years old. Then I
Okay.
moved to Thailand till I was 14, moved to the UK till I was 18, moved to Texas, and
Whoa.
at 24, I came back to the
So
Philippines.
technically,
You've been around, huh?
Yes.
You've been around.
It's been a lot.
So, I mean, what's your story? I mean, take us back.
Okay.
Like, how did you get into Mutya, and did you do any acting career or any modeling gigs before?
So, it's wholesome naman. My lolo was my closest person in my family. And in 2019, we knew he was on his last few months. So I call it, in my previous life, when I was 24 and in Texas, I was in nursing. And
Nursing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Very Filipino.
Yeah.
So I just knew that it was the right time to come home. And if I could offer him comfort to pass away at home, which is what he wanted to do, then now was the time to go back to the Philippines. I'd planned to only stay for 3 months. He ended up living longer than that, which was amazing. And my lolo is super kulit, always has been. You know how they are with their granddaughters. It's always like, my beautiful granddaughter, my beauty queen, my Miss Universe. He was just like that with me. So one of the last conversations I had with him, he was like, anak, like, please, like, I know you're smart. I know you like working, but you're a singer. You went to acting school. You know, I find you the most beautiful woman on the planet. Just stay here, stay with the family, and just try. So that's why I stayed. Yeah.
You were 24 back then.
I was 24. Yeah. So I chose to stay about 2 months before the pandemic happened. So it was just really unfortunate timing. I got to do a movie or two in that short period of time. But yeah, it was just, I wanted to really make that year my Lolo's year, but the pandemic happened. And, you know, with the pandemic came too many hours at home and too many hours to sit and think and criticize yourself and your life and your decisions. And I think that's what ultimately led to like the downfall
decline, yeah.
in how I felt about myself. Yeah.
I just want to ask, what did you learn from that experience? And you know, having all those things happen to you, and you wanted to spend time with your family, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Was I was thinking of my Lola, and it was, I know I'm lucky to be 24 and to had never had lost a family member, but it was the first one. So I kind of knew, and the older cousins and everything kind of knew, like, okay, now's the time we have to take care of our parents because they're going to be grieving the most. Our parents and our Lola are hurting even more than we are, you know. A lot of my brother lives in London. He couldn't do it. My sister's still in high school. She couldn't do it. So it was a decision for my Lolo because that was his final request. But I also just knew that I needed to be there to pick up the pieces, kind of.
Oh.
So there was no decision to make. You know, it was clear.
What was your cherished memory with your
With my grandfather?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, so many.
If there's one thing that comes into your mind right
It's
now.
actually whiskey was our thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Even when I was way too young to have it, my Lolo would make sure I had a glass and I would sit with him and his friends while they played poker, or, you know, back before when there weren't so many rules in Manila, I was going to the bars with him and
What's
stuff.
the name of your grandfather?
Alan.
Alan?
Yeah, Alan Mabamang Loob.
Alan, mababang loob, ah.
Yes.
Very Filipino.
Yeah, it's in my name too. I'm Shannon Mababang Loob Robinson.
Wow.
You know, I am surprised you can understand Tagalog because you've been around the world.
Pero ang pangit yung accent ko, so I get shy.
It's good enough. Para sa akin, it's good enough. So.
Yeah.
Actually, my dad, he's Irish, fully Irish. Mas maganda yung Tagalog siya.
Pero
He's so
you
good.
can speak Irish, right? No.
Oh, no. I can speak a bit of Thai, English, Tagalog. I'm
Hapon
getting
ka?
there. Swati ka. And I'm trying to learn Mandarin again. I used to
Okay.
know some, so
Cool.
I wish I could speak from everywhere I live. That would be
But I want to
flex.
ask you something regarding your acting career. So, did you enjoy acting, or it wasn't for you?
Oh, I love acting. I went to
Okay.
school for it. It is always going to be my end goal. The good thing
Okay.
about acting is you can be any age and be an actor.
Yeah.
So it's always just opportunity is a hard thing. Obviously, there's a language barrier in this country. That's my own fault. So as soon as I'm better in Tagalog, I'm sure I would have had more doors opened.
Okay.
But yeah, I went to theater school and then I went to acting school after that. So I really do love everything to do with it.
So from a very young age, you're already exposed in the industry.
Yes.
You would say, right?
Yeah, actually, because of my dad is actually a celebrity in the Philippines.
Oh, what's the name of your dad?
My dad is DJ John Robinson. He's an
Okay.
iconic DJ of the 80s here. If you ask
Oh.
anyone 40 and over, I'm sure
Okay,
they'll know who
they'll
he
know.
is.
So if you're 40 and over, you might know.
Rumors,
I don't.
zigzag.
Pero
it's-
direct, baka kilala mo.
Hindi, oy, excuse me. Diyan ba paghahalata ng edad ng mga audience natin, ha?
Kilala nila.
Oy, nasa ano pa ako, ha? Meron pa ako a few months bago mag-line of work.
So ako hindi ko talaga kilala. But hey, if you guys know her father, DJ Rob. What's his name?
DJ John Robinson.
John Robinson,
Yeah, so
yeah.
Japan and Philippines was really where he was super successful in the 80s, 90s. When I lived in Japan with him, he actually used to have to go out wearing a mask because when we were kids, obviously we didn't understand what a celebrity was, but I was exposed to it at a young age. I don't think I understood it. Clearly, I'm not a DJ or anything, so I didn't think I followed his path, but it made me know that there was room for me to take an untraditional path in terms of like college or being a doctor or a lawyer. I knew that my dad would be open-minded about it. So,
Shannon, how would you compare your life abroad and here in the Philippines? I mean, can you compare it really?
no, you can't compare it at all. I always say, like, I wish they didn't change the slogan. You know, it's more fun in the Philippines. That is so true to me because it's not easier here by any means, right? I have maybe 5 to 10 jobs going at a time to get by in this country. And, you know, just a lot of things are different and more difficult or less accessible. But just Filipino people, my family, family values as a whole, I missed that so much. And I was alone where I was in America. I was in Texas and I was overwhelmed. I didn't have anywhere to go, anyone to call. There's no reliability on your family members. So
Why were you in Texas, by the way?
it's such a weird story. When I was living in the UK, because my dad is fully Irish, you can enter a lottery for a green card for the US. We won the lottery to go to the US. So that's how we got the green card. And then Texas had like amazing schools, amazing music schools, acting schools. So there was something for all of us. But after a year, my parents moved to Vegas and I was just done with moving. So I was like, I'm staying, like, you guys go. And then I stayed there by myself for like a good 7 or 8 years and just tried to learn how to be really independent.
So that was when you're transitioning to adulthood, you would say, right?
Yeah. 18. I moved out at 18. They still lived down the street. And then at 19, they moved to Las Vegas and I stayed till I was 24.
24.
Yeah.
When you before you came back here.
Yeah, and here I had a 3-month ticket, a return flight, everything. So I never planned on staying here.
Wow.
I moved here
So
with
that
one
was your
suitcase.
first experience in becoming independent, you
Yeah.
would say.
Definitely. I think it was easier for us because my mom was a flight attendant growing up and my dad worked in Japan and the Philippines. So my brother and I were alone a lot and our sister's 9 years younger than us. So we had to figure out how to feed the baby and stuff like that. But it's interesting to be independent and to have the means to be independent. But I choose to stay at home with my family now. You know, it's a different lifestyle. A lot of people in the US and the UK, I'm sure, don't get it because the ultimate goal is to move out as soon as you can, you know? And it's like a sad thing if you still live at home with your parents. But in the Philippines, it's nothing like that. So,
You know, I'm just curious, listening to your story. What's your daily routine? When you wake up in the morning, do you usually go to like an ad work? Or you like exercise in the morning? I mean, what do you do every day?
it varies. In our industry, you know, a lot of the things are at nighttime. So sometimes I get home in the morning. But on a normal day, on an ideal day, let's say, wake up, brush my teeth, order a coffee, have my coffee, watch the news with my dad, and then I'll go to the gym, come back, and then record content at home, anything I need to do. I try to respond to every DM, Facebook, Instagram, everything. So I set time to do that. have lunch with my family, and then after that it depends which job needs more of my attention. So I have an Airbnb that I have to keep track of. I still work with CWC, so I keep
Wake Park?
No, not the Wake
CWC
Park.
Interiors.
Yes,
Interiors.
CWC
Okay,
Interiors.
okay.
So I check all my emails for that, cross
Okay.
off my tasks for the day, and then evenings it's, especially since coming back from India, there's been a lot of appearances or radio shows. So I have like a day split in half pretty much. It starts in the morning and I get to do my personal stuff and my freelance work. And then the evening is like the industry day starts kind of.
You know, Brian, no? She's super busy.
She is.
Pero dapat pala magpa-hook up tayo sa kanya ng Herman Miller.
Herman Miller.
Yeah.
CWC.
We should get a discount,
Cheers.
right?
I can make that
speaking
happen.
speaking of India, because for information of the people who are watching, dun kasi ginanap yung Miss Environment International. So, have you been into India before?
No, that was my first time. Yeah,
It's for
first time in
yeah.
India. I loved what I saw. You don't get to see too much when you're doing a pageant, mostly in hotels and event halls and stadiums, stuff like that. But I loved it. And if you think Filipinos drive crazy, go to India. They make us look old and slow. Nothing compared.
So how was your experience? Was it your first ever like major pageant?
Yeah, my first international pageant. So
Whoa.
from Mutya ng Pilipinas, I was first
Back in
runner-up.
December, yeah.
And there was no follow-up pageant. So I was in, I think, Singapore for work for CWC, and I got a call saying I was appointed as Miss Environment Philippines, if I would be interested. So I looked into the pageant and it aligned pretty much with what my family do and what I do. It's charity work. It's more about the inside of the person than like the skill of walking the runway or, the typical pageant stuff that you're used to seeing. So I went for it.
Yeah.
I have a special question for
Sige
you.
nga, Derek.
Diba?
What's that question?
What's your take on sustainable living?
It shouldn't be this big scary thing. Some people, you take the word sustainable and you think I have to be completely sustainable to contribute. And it's not. The minor ways of sustainability are how you can make difference and how you can make it obtainable to people. We're not saying, you have to recycle every vegetable scrap and make a juice and then turn that juice into watering your garden like a lot of people do. And that's amazing. We're grateful for those people that do that. But for the everyday Joe, especially in the Philippines, where it's very difficult.
Everyday one here.
Yeah.
Everyday one.
Everyday Jomar.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It
It's
is,
almost impossible in this country. It's almost out of our control. So my focus for the year that I have is to make it educationally obtainable, to get people, the higher ups that are making sustainable living possible, just to take what they're saying and make it presentable to everybody else. I think it'll change people's perceptions of what it is. Because you should go out into the street and ask somebody what they think of sustainable living. Most people hit back with, I'm not a hippie, or it's too expensive, I can't afford that.
Or it's hard to do.
Yeah. Or
Hard
it's
to
difficult.
sustain,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's sustainability, and then people have to learn about, circularity. That is just as important, and it's way more easy than you think.
Yeah. I'm very, very interested on your story and what you went through. And to think that that was your first ever major pageant.
Yeah.
Kudos. Kudos to you.
Thank
Congratulations
Thank
for
you.
winning. How did it
Great
feel
job.
like?
Thank
How
you
did it
very
feel
much.
like that moment when I'm not sure. Were you expecting that you were gonna win?
No, I actually called my dad the day before and I was like, Dad, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think, I didn't even think I was going to make the top 10, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because these girls were so seasoned and trained, and they were just different forces. You know, we were already on maybe 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. Some of these girls wouldn't sleep, so they would spend 5 hours on the way they looked to look incredible and amazing. And I just felt out of my depth almost. And it was really when I had the opportunity to speak is when the tables turned for me. So up until the semifinals, there's no Q&A or anything like that. Yeah. So that's why I thought, it's over. I got nothing. And then for semifinals, I really made the most of my moment on stage talking about it. Instead of going the glamorous approach of like, you know, recycle, plant trees, I like looked dead in the camera and was like, this is about addressing the 1% billionaires and corporations, about the mess they do to our environment, especially our oceans. We're holding you accountable. It was a big statement, and it was a risk for me to do as someone in a pageant, because it's skirting on the line of politics, you know. But I think that's what did it. Yeah.
That's what made you.
I think that's what gave them attention. Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
attention, and then on finals night, I had Q&A again, two questions. So I was really happy. Yeah.
So what's your most memorable experience in the whole pageant?
God, it sounds so cliche, but when you make friends in pageantry, they mean so much more. You don't take them for granted at all. You're in a foreign country alone. Your family isn't there. So there's a group of 5 girls that we just all kind of like, we get each other, you know? So that, and actually saying bye to them, that's what I can't forget. Like, we were all crying so much. I'm not a crier. So just the fact that I was sobbing in a hotel lobby, which is something I never do. I was like, gosh, I really like love these girls and have a deep connection with them. And I think it made me realize like, oh, I don't actually have that many friends in the Philippines, because I think I'm so comfortable with my family that I haven't branched out into trying to make friends. So yeah, those girls really, if I would have lost, I would have felt it was worth going.
It was okay. Yeah. And you went on a journey with them. So I would really understand that you develop friendships within.
Yes. And trust. Trust is so hard in pageantry, because you hear the horror stories of, you know, she ripped my dress, this is stolen, this is that. I can't say that until the year's over, but there were a lot of things going on in my pageant. So just to have girls I could trust, can you watch my bag? Can you watch my dress? And know for a fact that nothing would happen to it is just invaluable. So that just translated to us telling each other our life stories and just like an open circle of trust really early on. Yeah.
Grabe, no?
Grabe.
The experience also.
Yeah. And can you imagine what she's feeling the night before of the pageant?
Gut-wrenching.
It was gut-wrenching, and I was sick. Yeah, I got really sick the night before coronation night. So there was a lot of praying done the night before. It was like, God, I'm not asking to win. I'm just asking to be able to stand up straight tomorrow, because I can't even see straight right now.
Yeah. So I'm sure you're very stoked when you won the crown, right?
Oh my gosh. I was...
Was it a relief, or was it like sudden excitement?
I think when I was in the top 5, you always just kind of want to prepare yourself. Like, I'm going to get 5th runner-up, then 4th runner-up, because you don't want your face to show you're disappointed, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I thought I wasn't making top 10. I'm in the top 5. This is great. Except number 5. So when it got to the last 2 and you have that hand holding moment, I was like, oh gosh. And then when you finally hold hands, you're like, I just realized how badly I want this. Yeah. So it was weird. I was shocked and I was crying, but I was also just like, I was so relieved, even though I wasn't worried about not winning in the first place. I was just relieved, not for myself, but more because I had the pressure of the Philippines across my chest, you know? It just felt like, okay, I made my country proud no matter what, you know? So I felt...
Pwede bang sabihin, itinaguyod ko ang bandera ng Pilipinas?
Kaya mo ba?
Kaya mo ba? Can you do that?
Itinaguyod.
Itinaguyod?
What is that? Itinaguyod.
Itinaguyod ang bansa ng
Ang bandera ng Pilipinas.
bandera ng
It's
Pilipinas.
like you've raised the Philippine flag.
Ah,
It's like
okay.
that.
See, they made it simple for me. I just kept saying para sa Pilipinas.
Para sa Pilipinas. It would be nice talaga kasi I mean,
Okay, give it to me one more time.
Itinaguyod
Itinaguyod
ko ang bandera
ko ang bandera
ng Pilipinas.
ng Pilipinas.
Ayan.
Galing!
There you go. And we're so happy that
you.
you have represented the Philippines. Siguro ang takeaway ko dito talaga, Derek, is, it's really important to have an understanding and awareness around these concepts or these real life situations.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people would have the courage to.
No, and
And-
I think for girls, that's like the big thing for me is like, by personality, I was never a pageant girl. You can't see now, but I'm covered in tattoos. There's so many things that prevented me from doing that. But if you really do have good intentions, you're passionate about charity work, you have a message that's worth sharing, or even if you just want to face your fears and your own insecurities, I just think it's the best thing you could ever do. And I used to be the girl that would sit there and be like, she looks like this. I would never do that. It's so anti-feminist. They're just parading around for men. It's so the opposite. So like, even me, I had that horrible thing where I would compare myself to every woman I met and make myself feel bad about myself. After doing pageants, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take what she has in her confidence, how she does her hair, how she treats her friends. So you're actually just being empowered and taking and learning from everyone around you. Yeah. And it kind of like healed my jealousy issue,
You got a better grasp of who you are.
Way more so, yeah. Like, you'll realize what you have to offer and what people are learning from you as well. So you're like, oh, I'm just as valuable as these women around me. And you kind of start looking at, oh, I wish I was as pretty as her,
So, direct, sustainable living. And I'm pretty sure you also advocate for that as well.
Of course.
So, ano man takeaway mo sa episode natin na to? Bukod sa, of course, the inspiring stories ni Shannon.
Well, I just like what Shannon said, no? Face your fear. At the end of the day, if you face your fear, it will be very rewarding for you. It's because you're pushing yourself to the next level all the time. Because you're giving 100%.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, Bri, if you're not comfortable in your situation, but yet you choose to, face your fears? Sabi nga nila, di ba? Ano yan? Go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. So it means na...
Yun yung lagi mong sinasabi.
Yeah,
Go big or go
diba?
home.
So, for me, face your fear.
And to
I
me,
agree.
siguro my takeaway on our conversation is that no matter what happens in life, you've enjoyed your journey.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's really about picking what you can take from each person you meet in your life.
Yeah. And to be
And-
totally frank, you can live multiple lives in one, So I've been a waitress, I've been a bartender, I've been
Wow.
a nurse,
Wow.
I've been a cleaner, I've done every job you can imagine.
Bri, eto pinakamagandang waitress at cleaner na nakilala ko.
Wouldn't you say, guys?
Oo, diba?
So yeah, it's very interesting. And I would often say that we are a collection of the memories, not just of our own, but to the people that we meet as well.
True.
Pero,
So-
grabe, Shannon, no? I'm really, really inspired. More inspired.
Thank you.
Now, it's because I didn't know na when she was starting her career,
Grabe, tapos nawala pa
Diba?
siya ng confidence, di ba? Grabe naman.
can you imagine waitress and then cleaner and then
Nurse.
beauty queen?
Yeah.
Beauty queen, diba?
And look where you are today.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Very happy. I'm
But you're not contented, right?
not yet. No,
Not yet.
I don't think. I'm learning by my Lola. She's still a hardworking woman. I don't think you should ever be content. Like you can always do more. And if she might be content in business, but she's not content in philanthropy, So she always just drives to do something that will better her or somebody else.
So, Shannon, before we end our episode, is there anything that you want to say or
Yeah.
share a message to the people who are watching or listening right now?
For sure. This can apply to men and women. I speak on the side of women because I can relate more, but anybody. If there's anything holding you back, it's more likely yourself. Because the second you stop caring about people's opinions or someone laughing at you or making fun of you, whether you're a singer or you have a podcast or you're a rapper or whatever it is you want to do, the second you let that go, your life will change. Even if you just want to be a teacher, just the second you stop caring about other people's opinions, you will succeed, you will thrive. And ladies, if you have a drive to join pageantry with Janang Pilipinas, they're looking for their next set of girls, and I'll be there heavily involved, and I'd love to meet anyone that wants to make a change for themselves. So
Wow. And with that, thank you so much,
Thank you
everyone, for
both.
Salamat
listening and
ng
watching.
marami.
Thank you,
Salamat
Shannon,
po.
for being part of this podcast.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Cheers.
guys.
Ay, nako. Kapagod. Oh, ano yun, Direk?
Bray, gutom na ako at pagod ako.
Ay, ganun ba? Gutom ka na? Kasi naman, ilang episodes ang nirecord natin tonight.
Kaya nga eh. Bray, gusto ko ng pagkain. Meron ba dito sa studio?
Teka. Actually, may nagpadala sa atin eh. Ayan. Don Benitos.
Don Benitos.
Narinig mo na ba yun, Don
Aba,
Benitos?
oo, sikat to. Inutak.
Inutak. Sakto yan, Direk, kasi wala na tayong utak.
Ayan.
Na-drain na tayo sa dami nating pinag-usapan.
Pero, Bray, meron kang hindi alam.
Ano yan?
Pinadalan din ako ni Don Benito.
Don Benitos din nagpadala sa'yo?
Don Benitos din. Biko. Bagong produkto nila tong dalawa na to, Bray.
Interesting.
Pakita natin sa kanila. Pakita natin. Ayan,
Bagong produkto.
Aba? So, hindi na tayo magugutom.
Tayo magutom. Salamat.
Pero, Bray, parang may kulang eh kasi nag-whiskey tayo eh.
Oo nga eh. Parang masarap kung may pulutan.
Ayan na sinasabi ko. Ano ba ang sa tingin mong maidadagdag natin dito?
Actually, may padala sa atin.
Oh, ano yan?
Lumpianity.
Lumpianity?
Lumpiang siomay lang naman.
Hindi sa akin
Parang
pwede yan.
narinig mo na ba yun? Meron.
Oo.
Bihira lang may lumpiang siomay eh.
Bihira nga, bihira.
Kaso hindi nga pwede sa'yo.
Oh, vegetarian ako eh.
Wala bang ibang ano dyan?
Eh, si Lumpianity, masyadong concern. So, meron silang pwede sa vegetarian.
Ano yan?
Yung sinasabi ko, lumpia. Diba? Hindi siya lumpia. Turon siya.
Ano naman?
Turon. Cheese turon.
Pwede nga sa'yo.
Pwede sa akin to. O, diba?
Pagkatapos nating kumain, ano ba gagawin natin?
Sa tingin ko, kailangan natin maghugas ng kamay.
At pinadalan din tayo.
Pinadalan din tayo.
Hand soap
Hand soap.
from Villa
Elisa. Alam mo, Bray, maraming branch to. Alam ko, ano rin to, luxury Airbnb to, ah.
Ay, talaga?
Meron din pala silang
Uy, sana
hand
makadalaw
soap.
naman tayo
Ay,
dyan.
magdadalaw tayo doon. Malakas tayo dito
Pakita
kay
natin.
Villa Elisa.
Pakita natin yung ganda ng Villa Elisa.
Pero, Bray, ako may regalo sa'yo.
Ano yan?
Ito. Galing din kay Villa Elisa. Para sa'yo, Bray.
Ano ba to? Multipurpose disinfectant spray.
Yan.
Parang disinfect, diba? Siyempre, pagkatapos mo kumain, doon pa yung amoy ng pagkain mo.
Ayan na nga. At
Diba?
saka, para alam mo naman, di ba, dati uso COVID. So, at least, may disinfectant ka for safety pa rin.
Yeah. Tapos may scented din.
Tama.
Yan. So, thank you so much for Don Benitos, Lumpianity, and Villa Elisa for
Maraming
sending
salamat.
these products, which we appreciate you. And we'll see you on the
On
next
episode.
Relax na tayo, sober man o tipsy. Aral makukuha mo sa life over.